So greetings to you. And I have a late start today. I was in some last moment discussion. But nonetheless, welcome to this very important edition of Uncensored Guyana. No tie today because I'm running late. So welcome to this very important edition. The countdown to V-Day, Voting Day, or Victory Day. Monday. Monday is September 1st. That is Monday coming. And from today, I don't have time to play Mr. Nice Guy. I am not a nice guy. You see, being a nice guy doesn't mean your looks. Could be a lot of things. In the context of what I have to deal with from now to Monday, I am not a nice guy. So therefore, to all the regular people who seem to be so sensitive that they have an issue with the way I speak, they have an issue with some of the things I say, to those very sensitive people, I would tell them, now is not the time to be sensitive. Now is the time for you to count your blessing. Count your blessing. And from today, if you haven't done it before, from today, I want you to think with your money and with your future. I want you to think with your money and your future. That's what I want you to do. This is not time for you to be all sulky and think that you are all special. You can't hear certain things. It is beneath you. Why can't he use other words? No, this is not a time for that. I am saying to you, think with your money and your future from today. That's all you have to focus on right now. If nothing else inspires you, if nothing else motivates you, if it's not your children's future, if it's not you being a patriot, if it's not your relationship or your marriage or your job, then think about your money. You may not have a lot of it, but a little that you have, think with it. Keep it on your mind. Your money on your mind and your mind in your money, yes. And think with your future. Let me break it down. You see, if you think with your money, it means you are investing your thoughts in your money. You are investing your mindset in your money. You are thinking financially. You are thinking business wise. You are thinking constructively. You are thinking economically when you think with your money. When you think with your future, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Don't be stupid and think for 6 months. Think for 5 years. When you think with your future, you're thinking, where do you see yourself? Literally, see yourself. That's what, when you think with your future, you see yourself with your money maximizing the little you have by 1,000-fold in a future where you can smile and say, I am so happy that I made the right decision. September 1st, 2025. And I chose to think with my money and my future, and by virtue of that, I voted for President Irfan Ali and the PPPC. That is when you think with your money and your future. So I don't have any patience, none whatsoever, for people who premeditatively, I have no fucking patience for people who leave their homes on September 1st and go to the polling place to vote for a fucking win. I have no patience, tolerance, or sympathy for those idiots. The same way, I would not walk down the road and see a known drunkard who left his house sober, deprive his family of money, went to the fucking rum shop to consume alcohol he doesn't need, then to leave the rum shop drunk, disturbing the traffic, and throw his ass down on the roadside, stopping me, begging to help him up. I wouldn't. Call me inhumane. Thank you. I would not help that guy. I wouldn't. I wouldn't even call the cops to help him. It's a waste of my time and a waste of the cops' time. Yes. Because he made a conscious decision to deprive his home of food, went to the rum shop, made a conscious decision to buy the alcohol, drank so much that he couldn't walk. The consequences that befell him, he chose that. Why the fuck should I be sympathetic and say, well, he's only human, people make mistakes? That's no mistake. That is no mistake. You don't just overnight, one time decide to try alcohol and get pissing drunk. You don't do that. The first time anybody consumes alcohol, they know when they reach the limit. The first shot, they're like, fuck it, I don't want any more. But when you can drink and drink and drink and drink and drink a whole bottle, 2 bottles, that's not the first time. It's not a mistake. It's premeditative gluttony. Premeditative gluttony. No sympathy on my end for people like that. Fuck it. In the same way I'm saying, again, I reiterate and I'm stressing this. I'm fucking stressing this. Do you understand me? The people who are consciously, and if it's up to me, if it is up to me, I will get the information of all the individuals who have been publicly promoting, sharing, campaigning, targeting people for win, for Azruddin Mohammed. I will get their information and store it in a database with a tag, flag their name, so that they would live the rest of their lives regretting their betrayal for their homeland. And it's unfortunately that you can't deport those dumbasses somewhere because they're Guyanese citizens. You can't deport them. But if the option was there, I would have sent them to Uganda, deport them, because they are unpatriotic, treasonous. For you to consciously, knowing what is at stake, being warned, in some cases begged, pleaded with, to put your country first. This is bigger than you and your hatred for Jagdi or Ali. This is bigger than you and your little bitch ass thing you have with these men. It's bigger than that. And you're gonna conspire to destroy Guyana for what it is. All the work that was put in, all the efforts, all the sacrifices, how far we have come from the days of Barnum, the days of rice flour, the days of eating cassava, the days of having to eat egg for lunch, breakfast, and dinner. How many of you can recall that you had only one boiled egg to go to school in the morning? Your parents had to ration. Barnum invented the word rationing. Had to ration groceries. And all you had was the enough calories to carry you through the day. That's all you had. You had absolutely nothing else to say that there is some substance there. All you had was enough calories. Your parents could not have, they had to count every grain of rice, proportion to the family size. And if you are consciously making the decision to risk that because you have some beef with your president and your vice president, I would treat you like the drunken man who chose to drink and get drunk and fall down on the roadways. I'll treat you like that. You are unpatriotic, uncivilized, and you should be blacklisted. It's the choice you make. The rest of us cannot come after that and help you out, lend you some money, help you with your rent, your car payment, help your child. No, no, no. No. If you can't think of your children's future and make the right decision that you know can guarantee your children's future, if you can't be that unselfish, and you will risk what is happening, then why should I be sympathetic with your kids? I'm not a state. I can't take your kids away from you because of your stupidity. The state has to do that. And I hope they do. So think along the lines of the role that you will play towards the uncertain future of Guyana as we know it. Do you think it is right for people like me and the good citizens of that country who are cheering on, doing our part to continue to encourage and be a part of the growth and the building process of the country that all of us will benefit and are currently enjoying? You think it's fair for us to sit back and just say, well, it's democracy, everybody has a right to vote for whoever they want? Why then why? That's the thing they're peddling, right? Everybody has a right to choose. Then why do you beat up your sister when she chooses the person that she loves? Why do you want to get involved in your son's relationship when he decides to choose who he wants to love? Why you want to dictate who his wife is, who he chooses for a girlfriend? Why you want to dictate who your daughter marries or who she dates? I mean, democracy across the board. So why is it important for you to dictate what the choices your children make, but you can be wild and irresponsible to make stupid choices? If it's good for one, it's good for the other. At the end of the day, ignorance is not bliss. Ignorance is deadly. Education is bliss. But after you make a decision, despite the education you have on the subject, then you have to deal with the consequences. The PNC people, and this man, what they call him, Paul Slow, this former cop under the PNC, this corrupt cop, Paul Slow. People like you, Paul Slow, you're lucky I'm not the Minister of Home Affairs. But one day I'll get to you. I'm going to pull your files. I hope you're still alive. I'm going to pull your files. You think people don't know about you? The fact that you know about all this corruption is because you were a part of it. You were a part of it. This is why people like you and Aubrey Norton and all these other PNC people, you can't condemn Azruddin Mohammed. You're talking your big talk. You think he's a threat to the PPPC? He's not a threat to Jack Deere. He's not a threat to Ali. He's a threat to you also. He's a threat to Norton's 1 million Guyana dollars a month. He's a threat to that. And imagine, because if he gets anywhere close to the parliament, or as a member of parliament, yes, Norton, you have to address Azruddin as honorable member of parliament. Azruddin Mohammed. Yes, you, Norton, have to address him like that. Then what? So Paul Slow, former top cop with an axe to grind, this is why the laws need to be changed. You see, when you let these corrupt people go, they come out and they say, well, I was a part of the system, so I knew where the corruption was. But they never acknowledged their role in the corrupt practices. The same way how Azruddin Mohammed was conveniently saying that the whole police force will vote for him, because he somehow have dossier on these top cops in the police force? Just like this Paul Slow guy who's talking his crap that he's talking. All a part of the conspiracy to corrupt the government. But when they don't get away with it and they get kicked out, oh, they have an axe to grind. Early retirement, if it's up to Paul Slow, he would still want to be on the job. An experienced crook to contaminate and confuse the innocent officers who are now coming through the ranks that President Ali is trying to keep virtuous. That's what's happening. He with his axe to grind. But the president warned us. The government, from a while back, before the campaign began, warned us about the consequences of people who were sanctioned and dealing with people who were sanctioned. They warned us. They are using up the president, Irfan Ali, the vice president, and most of these campaign speakers of the PPP are using up valuable time to continue advocate against Guyanese making a stupid mistake to place their votes for Azruddin Mohammed. They don't have to do that. Mohammed is not a threat to the PPP. He's a threat to you, the taxpayers of Guyana, not the PPP. As a political party, he's not a threat. He is a threat to the poor people in Guyana. He's a threat to the people who are putting their hopes towards a better Guyana. He's a threat to them. But the fact that these men have to use their time every time to warn Guyanese, it is exhausting for them. They can use that time to spend more on the manifesto, on the progress that has happened and is happening and will continue. They can use that time to talk about that. They find it necessary because of the illiteracy that exists still amongst a small group, of which dominate the social media trending groups that are posting this Muhammad stuff. Just for a quick buck. The man has enough taxpayers' money to circulate around all these people who are doing so-called podcasts and these so-called news whatever. He has enough money to pay them. Most of them are his employees. Most of them are. So when you have this happening and these people have innocent followers who are unaware of what's happening, they are being sucked into this nasty, ugly propaganda that continues to come out of the Mohammed scam. And the president and vice president have to waste time talking about this nonsense and this man. His fate is sealed. Azruddin Mohammed and his family, their fate is sealed. You can do nothing about it. The problem is, you are just making Guyana appear more desperate when, despite they're telling you of the virus, this virus we call Azruddin Mohammed, they're warning you about it, how contagious it is. It can affect your entire future. You're still in listening. You're still in listening. And what is even more hurtful is when you have Afro-Guyanese, like that Rasta woman who sits with this Win party, not the other one, not the idiot Odessa, the other one. I don't want to know their names. The Rastafarian one, yes, that one that absconded from the PNC because of some grievance. Well, I guess it's Norton, because he's chasing all the women out, and she joined Win because, well, he pays well, even though she can't bank the money. She got to save it maybe in her car or something, because them niggas that hang around win, if they know that she's keeping the money at her home, that's where they go. This person who campaigned during the PNC time, 2015 elections, even 2019, on law and order, justice, truth, campaign about all that, put her name. She now is publicly defending a known criminal who has been convicted by the highest state in the world, the US State Department, the highest office in the world. And you're coming and further pushing lies to confuse and convince the Guyanese people to take an economic suicide plunge into supporting a man that has who has a sealed fate regarding the consequences that is awaiting him. Judgment is already passed on Muhammad. And to know this Afro-Guyanese woman, Rastafarian, what's the symbolism of her hair? Rastafarian is all about truth and justice, right? I mean, they don't eat meat. That's how pure Rastafarians are. And she's going to defile that fate to go stand with a drug baron, a criminal, a gun smuggler, gold smuggler, a sanctioned individual who is in bed with Maduro, who can actually cause destruction to Guyana. She's trying to clean his money. What a disgraceful Afro-Guyanese woman. What a disgraceful black woman. No wonder she's single. No wonder she's single. Look where she's hanging. Which decent man wants women like that? And you can see the embarrassment, the humiliation in her face. The humiliation in her face. Lying. Openly lying. You haven't seen the evidence. You're calling the Americans a liar? You're calling the American justice system a conspiracy? You're saying that they unfairly sanctioned your boss? You are a low-level, low-life, unimportant, insignificant wannabe politician who got a break somehow, or give somebody a break somehow, or got into politics, went in with a PNC, and now you're somebody, you're questioning the integrity of the United States Justice Report and their decision to sanction your boss? What information you have to counteract what the Justice Department says, or OFAC? What information do you have? Nothing. So you cannot go and try to debate what they're saying about evidence. How do you think people are sanctioned? On suspicion? You got to suspect a criminal to sanction them? No, a sanction happened on the conclusion of investigation. Then it is recommended. It's like a sentence. A verdict must be passed in order for a sanction to be enforced. It's a done deal. They have no issues with Mohammed. Who the fuck is Mohammed? You think the Americans have an issue with him as a person? You think they have an issue with Maduro as a person? They don't give a fuck about Maduro or Mohammed. The problem is they broke the people's laws. They hurt the system. They hurt the American people. The people have to protect their country, their borders, their sovereignty, their integrity. So they go after criminals wherever they are. If the criminals are brazen enough to enter the United States on their territory and conduct illegal business, push drugs, smuggling, all these things, you want them to sit back and say, no, it don't work like that. They're following this Mohammed family and others for years. They gather all the information. So when they say, hey, sanction now, this is the end of it, it's because they have every fine, tiny, teeny, anti evidence. It means they see the man in the act, they caught him in the act, they hear him in the act, they have his signature, his picture, his video, his voice, his money, they have everything. Everything. So the first step is what they did. They provided the evidence to the Guyana government. That's why the GRA acted so quickly. And they're currently in the process of doing all they have to do to cover all the areas. So when they go to get Mohammed, they can charge him in Guyana, then deliver him to face justice in America. This is no joke. You can't play around with this because you want 2 votes for your boss. You are risking an entire country for your stupidity, your selfish ambition. You want to get back in parliament, underwin? You're hoping to get enough seats so that he can get maybe 1 or 2 seats and you can take 1 and he gets the other one? Because that Odessa woman, she can't pass through the door, so I don't think she can get anywhere close to that. But what's the point? This is how disgraceful you are. This is the reason why you continue to harbor and attract this nasty, nasty, very low-level name towards Afro-Guyanese. These are the things that you do. You appear as if it's not crime. If it's not the case whereby you can buy a black person to commit crime, you can buy one to promote a sanctioned man. It's like black people are for sale. Oops. Slavery. See where it came from? You see where it came from? It's a slavery thing. You sell them during slavery and that stick. It's in the DNA. So now it's easy to buy a black person because it's already in the DNA from slavery. You keep selling them, selling them, selling them. And that's what Muhammad is doing. He's buying slaves to dance for him, to speak for him, and take a bullet for him. That's what Massa Muhammad is doing. And you people are coming out proudly with your dreadlocks. What would Selassie, I think? That's why they say, the Rastafarian thing says, let the woman stay in the house. Stand beside your king. Where is your king? Muhammad, he no Rasta. Where is your king? You're supposed to be a princess, but you're promoting a corrupt Indian man, who's a criminal. You're promoting. Where is your black Rastafarian? Where is he? You don't have any. Women like you can't have men. You're a disgrace. And this other thing. I want you, this lady who interviewed you from this news source, well, we know that that's a PNC outlet, and Gordon mostly works for Aubrey Norton. We know that. But listen, when you said that you know of several places, countries, where a sanctioned individual ran for president and got elected, she should have asked you, give me an example of one such country. That is what she should have asked you, but she's not a journalist. I mean, like Travis Chase, they're paid interviewers. I would never know how much Muhammad paid for that interview, but anyway. But I'm asking you now, which country? Which country? Name one country where a private individual, businessman, or otherwise, who was sanctioned by the Americans, and as a result of him being sanctioned, created a political party or movement, entered the race, campaigned in that country, and won the election. Or forget winning and campaign, just campaign. Name One such country. Anyone. Just one. Where that happened? Ever happened? Let me repeat the question. Anybody from the Win Party, can you name for me a country where a private individual, be it business, politics, whatever, who was fingered in corruption, drugs, crime, terrorism? One country who entered politics by way of establishing a political party and contested an election. Up to that point, give me one country. I just want one where it happened. And then after, when they win, the United States had to engage with them. Just give me one country. You can't, because there's none. Never happened. Never happened. Don't bring up presidents or politicians who were sanctioned after they entered government by virtue of what their parties would have been aligned with. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Mohammed's case. It never happened because other countries have strict policies. That shit can't happen there. Guyana, well, I guess the billionaires' money got to the highest places. I'm beginning to think that GCOM was sympathetic with the Mohammeds for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm beginning to think so because the fact that he could be approved, gotten a license, and registered a party, that is a lot of question marks over that. How did it happen? How? You got people who have a criminal past, they can't even get a driver's license. I mean, they have to go get a police clearance to get a job. They can't because they have a criminal past. They're ex-convict. They can't. And here you have the biggest drug dealer, the biggest case in Guyana's history. Mohammed makes Barnum look like a saint. Maybe he should be called the Demon King. The only person in Guyana's history that has suffered this, not suffered, that has been faced with this level of sanction, that anybody he touches is victimized. It's amazing that because of a few dollars more, he can have the children of those Guyanese who sweat, who bled, who sacrificed, who built that country. He can pay their children to come in the public and defend him. It's a shame. But guess what? The president and the vice president can't do much. They can't get into your head and tell you, hey, don't do this, don't vote. No, no, go ahead, vote for Win. Do your thing. Do your thing. Your names are in the system. But let me give you a heads up. The United States already positioned 3 warships off the coast of Venezuela. Already there. Trump in bluffing. Yes, it's there, waiting for the order. 8,000 American Special Forces Marines are waiting for the order to go in Venezuela and get Maduro, because he is an illegitimate president. He stole an elections, and he's not recognized anywhere as a president. He is a criminal who is wanted for 50 million American dollars, who is being pursued by the Americans for possible jail time or execution. And you have one of his known associates running for president in Guyana, Maduro's known means he's aware of, they know each other, they're friends, they're business buddies. Running for president in Guyana. All of this can happen within a week. And you want to risk Guyana's security because of a fucking idiot like Mohammed? Maduro is going down. The Americans are on Venezuela's doorstep. It's not an invasion. It's called justice. It's called justice. The Americans are serving justice on the thousands of people who suffered by the hand of Maduro smuggling illegal weapons and drugs into the United States and killing all their people. Justice is being served. The same way his buddy, Azruddin Mohammed, will get his time. It can happen the same time. Do you really want to risk Guyana's security for this asshole? You really want to risk that? You want to put Guyana at risk for Mohammed? Oh, he can't fly here. Oh, he can't this. You're trying to garner public sympathy. This is where poor people get trapped in every situation. They have nothing to lose. They have nothing to live for. So they would easily give up their sympathy for people who don't deserve it. This is a billionaire who flaunts his mansions online, his fancy cars, his cheap suits online, who makes the average Guyanese look like shit to kiss his shoes. All his life, all his 38 years of living is wealthy. And you are willing to waste your tears for that guy? He just surfaced a few years ago because he knew he was under investigation. And his advisors told him, hey, play this out in the public, get some public sympathy, start giving out this here, this here. That's the whole thing. Look back at the time when Mohammed started renovating a few people's homes. Look at the time. That's the same time when he was being investigated. The investigation became public. It became public around that time. And they start doing this philanthropy nonsense, this shady, shabby thing, because he was campaigning for public sympathy. The whole presidential thing was not a part of it. It was just so that he looks good in the eyes of the Guyanese people, so that they can say, hey, America, leave him alone, he's a good guy. No, before that, where was he? Where was he? 60 billion is not a joke. And that's up to 2013. From 2013 to 2025. 12 years. It's more. It's not a joke. And now the same guy who this Rastafarian woman is saying that cares about the people. If Azruddin Mohammed cared about the Guyanese poor, why did he rob them of their taxes? Why did he rob the taxpayers? If he cared about the poor, who do you think the tax dollar goes to serve? When people pay taxes, where do you think the money goes? Serving the poor. That's why the tax system is in place. You exploit the country, you must pay the taxes. You think the gold belonged to the Mohammed? No, the gold did not belong to the Mohammeds. Let me tell you who the gold belonged to. The gold that Azruddin Mohammed smuggled, forget the guns and the drugs. Let's deal with the gold. The gold that he smuggled and didn't pay the Guyanese people back their cut, that he robbed 100% on the export of that gold. The gold belonged to the people, the Amerindian people, who were first there. They were first there, right? They were there who occupied the hinterland, who the Dutch ran from the coastal into the hinterland. Yes, he stole first from the Amerindians. The same Amerindians who are rallying around him and, oh, Azruddin, win, win, win. Yes, He stole the gold from you. Because the hinterland, you found refuge there. You kept the bush alive. You kept it at peace. You protected it. And people like Muhammad goes in and exploited the hinterland, chasing your people out so they can't operate. And now you're in sympathy with that guy. The second people that he robbed the gold is the black people. You were slaves, right? When they had the fightings with the whites and the blacks, didn't the bush give refuge to a lot of the slaves who ran away, who the Amerindians helped to hide them? Ask Coffee. Wake him up. Ask him. And Damon and all these, ask them. It's your ancestors, Negroes, who the bush technically belongs to. The resources of the bush, you should have gotten your cut. But here it is, this Indo-Guyanese guy who illegally took your gold, smuggled it to another country, Curacao, then to the United States without paying anybody. He didn't pay the US, he didn't pay Curacao, and he didn't pay you. And the same man you are in sympathy with, crying for, begging for forgiveness for him, and he robbed the Amerindians and the blacks. Think. And your sons, Amerindians now, and the black people that are in the interior working the gold, they don't have the massive operations like the Mohammeds. They're hustling, they're poke knockers, they're trying, they're taking the scrums. They can't rob the gold. They have to take it to the GRA, no, the gold board. They have to sell it to the gold board and pay their taxes. Yes, the Amerindian brothers and sisters who are working the gold, who should not have been the one paying any taxes because the bush belongs to them. But the Amerindians and the blacks who work in the gold have to pay taxes. They have to sell their gold to the gold board while you have this billionaire that you are now being sympathetic for. Him and his family evaded the taxes and became multi-billionaire while you are still struggling with a little saucepan, a little pump. Years after, you can't get your head above water because you did the right thing. You paid your taxes. You honor your commitment to your country. He didn't. And you want to fight for him? You want to give your blood for him? You want to sacrifice your country for him? The man who's conspiring with the Venezuelan military to come over to our borders in secret to smuggle gold and drugs and all these things. You want to be sympathetic to that guy? What is the matter with your mindset? You see why a lot of you are denied visa to the America and other countries? Because when you associate your name with people like Mohammed's and all these criminal enterprises, you think it's cool. You think it's nice to share their videos on TikTok, Facebook. Yeah. Your digital footprint is there. So when you go to get a visa or you go to places to get certain things done and you find that you're not getting through, you think it's victimization. You think it's, oh, why me? Yes. Look at your track record. You associate yourself with crime and criminality and criminals, you face the consequences. Why can't you do something good for your country? They sent about you. Why can't you do something good for your country? You want to give your blood to Muhammad. Imagine. Just understand, when the fight starts, stay in your homes. When the fight starts, stay in your homes. Mohammed ain't worth it. Maduro ain't worth it. Let them face the justice that is due. Don't sacrifice your security, your safety, and your future for these two men. They have to go down. Let them go alone. Don't let them take you with you. Don't let them take you with them. Let them go alone. They commit the crime. Let them face what's coming. You have a Guyana to save and Guyana to build and Guyana to fight for. Stand up tall. Stand up with the People's Progressive Party. What's in it for me? You want to know what's in it for me? Right now? Country. I'm a patriot. I have to keep reminding a lot of you. So you know this is deep. This goes deep for me. The Mohammeds are paying all of the people talking good about them. All of the people that are pushing Mohammed, they're getting paid. And big bucks. Big bucks. Nice money, yeah. They're not thinking about the consequences. They're thinking about you can buy a black person. Yeah, a nigger, you can buy them easily. Cheap. I'm not for sale. So I can talk with a passion, I can talk with heart, and I can talk with soul that I love Guyana, I love Guyanese, and I want to see the best for that country and its citizens. Therefore, I say, stand with the People's Progressive Party. Let the Americans and the West know that we are not behind criminal and crime. So if they have to punish this guy and those associated with him, just punish them. Don't let the rest of the country suffer as a result of their crimes. We need to make a statement and withdraw ourselves from any associations with a criminal family, a criminal enterprise like the Mohammeds and Maduro. We need to make that public statement. Don't fuck it up. Until next time, bye now.